Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP POV, where we play Kerbal Space Program in first person. So unfortunately in the last episode we lost a dear friend of ours to an unfortunate situation of our parachutes ripping too early because they were rated to deploy way too soon, and unfortunately we were unable to get him out of the capsule in time. Valentina, however, did survive. And we still have Jebediah, both of which are going to be in today's mission. And as we see in the flag back here, we are going to Minmus. You can tell because it has the minty green surface. And so the mission for today is to drop off this ScanSat satellite to hopefully pick up a good enough map of Minmus so we'll know where we want to go when we get there. We are also going to be collecting science in high and low space. As we see here, we're outfitted with every little bit, and we do have TAC life support somewhere to the tune of 200 days worth of supplies. This is the first journey to Minmus in both our program and the Janus project in a whole. So we will hopefully be taking that Minmus flyby milestone today. I'm very excited about that. We are going to have to take a lot more precautions going forward. We don't want to kill more Kerbals if we can help it. So anyways, without further ado, let's hop in the cockpit. We got Jebediah as our first pilot and Valentina as our second. We're just going to get our screens up the way we want it. We'll come back to that one. Alright, now on Valentina's side, we have a lot of the same things. We have a screen that shows our life support. We'll be able to keep an eye on that. We're going to put on the flight screen here. I've been enjoying seeing the little map below us and all that information. And here we're going to put on the vessel view. Turn it sideways. There we go. So we can keep an eye on our fuel. Turn on our warning systems. And that is all she needs to do. And so we're going to use the auto launch sequence integrated in the DE plus MAS IVA cockpit. And so this allows us to specify what orbit we want to set for ourselves. I've spent a lot of time playing around trying to get ourselves to be able to launch in the inclination of Minmus to save ourselves the step. However, the problem is because we are at the proving grounds, we are at a different inclination than the typical KSC. So no matter what I did, I was not able to launch in the inclination of it. So we will have to change ourselves like normal. All right, so we have everything set up. Let's go ahead and put in the auto. This should be going all the way up. It says 100%. Staging is correct. Oh well, let's see how this does. Alright, and with that we have everything set up, so hopefully this does launch, and that is just a visual bug. So 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Excellent. As you see here, we've already done our roll, so now we are lined up. Our nav ball is the correct positioning. And I'm just, this is all being handled by the MechJeb integration, so we can simply sit back and watch it. Bill has taken extra precautions and wants to make sure that he can get both these pilots back safe and sound. Unfortunately, we needed to have both seats be occupied by pilots simply because half of the control panels are split between two seats. I know, it's a weird design. This is the Mach 2 command pod. Don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So I'm going to just time warp a little bit. We're going to watch our screens. It's going to auto stage for us when we run out of fuel in our side boosters, and it's going to bring us to orbit. So we'll just keep an eye on everything, and I'll probably just fast forward the footage for you, and I'll see you soon. And with that, our throttle cuts off. We're going to go ahead and turn on our RCS. That'll help us align once the second part of our maneuver has been made. There we go. And now that we're in space, the mech Jeb automatically deploys our solar panels for us. Not the most convenient. I kind of wish that it allowed me to take care of that, because I do have action groups for both of those, but nonetheless, good to know that it'll do that in case we forget on future missions. And then once we line ourselves up with our maneuver, it will also take control of the time warp necessary to bring us forward to our apoapsis. There we go. We'll keep an eye on our orbital display. Periapsis is now breaching the negatives, and we are now in space. We are now in a current and relatively stable orbit of 110 kilometers even. Excellent. Way to go, Valentina. Way to go, Jeb. Alright, so now our next step is we are going to target Minmus. And we can see here that our relative inclination is quite high. And like I mentioned before, that is because of our launch zone. So we are going to make a maneuver at the ascending node. Bring it anti-normal quite a bit until it reaches 0.0. There we go. It's an 18-second burn, 470 meters per second out of our 2,000. So pretty happy with that. We are going to use Flight Computer to plot that in. RCS taking over on the pointing ourselves towards our maneuver. And I think that might be the end of our RCS fuel. No, we still have plenty. I don't know what that beep was for then. Alright, so now that we are pointed towards our maneuver, we can see there we go. Our maneuver is in 39 minutes, so we can go ahead and time warp our way closer. Anything to see up there? No. Just getting in the sunlight. Facing the wrong way to look at Kerbin. That's okay. There it is. There we are. Flight computer takes charge of the maneuver. A little over under 2,000 meters per second left in our stage, so we are good. There we go. So now let's clear that maneuver. And let's check our target. Cool. Our relative inclination is 0. Excellent. So now let's go ahead and plot out our maneuver out to Minmus. Making history here today in the Janus Project. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of the science from our landing on the Mun, which was quite a letdown. That was going to give us quite a bit to work with, a lot of new parts that we could have done some different things with, different goals, but since we lost that, I'm going to that's why we decided to make this partly a science mission, because we can then use those science gains to come on. Alright, I'm just gonna lock it in here. Whatever, that'll do. Let's go ahead and plot that into flight computer and let that handle. But yeah, that's why I decided to make this a science mission as well. We're going to collect the space high above Minmus as well as space low above Minmus, and that will allow us to take home a bunch of science to unlock parts that will make returning to the Mun a lot easier, because there's still a lot of science we want to grab there. We want to go back and you know, we can't let Bob die in vain. I don't know why we're straying off the marker. That was strange. So let's just go ahead and use our RCS to hold ourselves. Hopefully that didn't change our trajectory too much. Oh, look at that. We got parallax continues on, so it's going to be much shinier. Oh, come on. Much shinier Minmus than normal. Alright, so we overshot our target a little bit, but that's not a problem. We need to make a mid-course correction anyways. And that is because we want to have this in a polar orbit, and we just weren't able to get that kind of accuracy in our first burn. So we want to bring a polar orbit of 300, just below 400 basically. 372 sounds good enough for me. It's relatively 90-ish degrees. That looks good. It's a burn time of 0.1 seconds, and that's pretty low for us. So let's go ahead and lower our throttle 5%. So that's a 2-second burn, much more doable. Point ourselves towards our node in flight computer, and we've got a day until we need to burn, so we've got plenty of time. We don't need to use our RCS to push ourselves forward. We can actually just physics warp, because we had a little bit of momentum that was bringing ourselves that way anyways. Alright, with everything set, let's go ahead and time warp our way out to the maneuver. Anything interesting to see over there? No. There we go, 3 minutes to the mark. ever so slightly, just changing our approach. And there we have it. Wow, I didn't even hear the engines fire. Okay, so let's, first off, let's kill our throttle again. Or kill our throttle limiter, I should say. Circularize. That's only going to take 192 meters per second of delta V. We still have 596 in this. This lower lifter is definitely overbuilt. Plot that into flight computer. Once again, we're just gonna let time warp. You know what? We have the RCS to spare. We're gonna use RCS to bring ourselves over with our maneuver, and then we'll time warp our way to Minmus. There we go. Here it comes. And there we are. We are in the sphere of influence of Minmus. Oh, we can see it right there. That's cool. Okay, so first thing we want to do is science high in space. And we are going to get quite a bit of this. The farther out from Kerbin you go, the more each experiment yields in science. So we'll be coming back with quite a bit. Let's go ahead and collect that into the science collection bin. And now for the hard part. So let's go ahead and turn on our external lights, and we are going to get Jebediah out into EVA to do an EVA experiment in Bob's honor. Alright, so we are going to take off our parachute momentarily and put on the science experiment. Let go of the craft, grab our RCS. Whew. Quite dangerous, but quite fun as well. And it always helps when we have some lights to see. So, first off, let's go ahead, and do our experiment. Whee! Alright. Ooh, 62.5 science for that. Can we see Minmus at all? No, that's Kerbin. Oh well. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead and get ourselves back into the cockpit. Not a lot of room to move around in this cockpit. There we go. Alright, that was fun. So, now what we need to do is get ourselves to our periapsis and drop off the ScanSat satellite, and that will complete our first part of our mission. We're not actually getting paid by any contracts to do any of these that we're doing right now. Ooh, don't time warp faster than I can handle. There you are. It's unfortunate it's so low poly right now. It's just the cameras. We'll take another look at it when we get out on EVA for the second time. Time warp to the maneuver. There we go. That took no time at all. Alright, so we are in a stable 366 kilometer orbit, polar orbit for that. So we're going to take a look at our satellite up front and watch it as we stage. Never mind. We need to look backwards. I forgot that the next stage was to get rid of our lifting engines. I thought we would have gotten rid of it beforehand. I had a momentary heart attack that we just did something else. But anyways, unfortunately we weren't able to see the explosion except for the final bits. But our, so we can look on Valentina's screen. We are now in our, what would have been our transfer stage had our lifter stage not been so absolutely overpowered. So let's go ahead and point ourselves. There we go. Let's point ourselves radial in. Can we do that? There we go. We'll point ourselves radial inwards, and then we are going to drop off our satellite, but not before deploying it. There we go. Get all the communication dishes. And we're going to go ahead and start the scanning arm aspect of it now. So that way when we drop it off, we don't have to do anything else. It is already doing the work for us. So there we go. As we can see, we got rid of that. I wonder, can you see, Valentina, can you see it through your window? Get a better view of it? Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's fun. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to point ourselves retrograde. Do we want to point? You know what? No, let's. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Point ourselves retrograde. Looking good. And we are now going to fire until we bring our periapsis down into low space. There we go. We're going to bring it to 19.7 kilometers. I know space in low space starts a lot higher than that, but I like a nice, clean, low pass. There we go. Oh. Just saw it peek through our window. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do science in low space. Yeah, quite a lot from that. 48, 32. Saw 100 in there somewhere. There we are for the material studies. Yeah. Ooh, that's going to be good. Alright, and let's go ahead and collect that into the unit. And get Jebediah out of his seat one more time. This time he can actually hop out of the... unbuckle himself. But I don't see a door here. Nope. I don't see a door, so he'll just have to use the menu. Alright, so he still has the experiment in his inventory. Leave that up for a second. Let's go ahead and let go. RCS our way back. It's a nice shot as well. Ah, that's fun. Alright, we're going to perform all science. 32 science for the crew report. And 100 for that one. Alright, so because our cameras are so bad, I do want to get... Hold on. We need to get closer to our ship. Where's our ship? Valentina? Okay. I'm sorry, Valentina. I'm gonna come back. Okay. Okay, back again at our ship. But what I was saying before is I want to get a good view of Minmus. Ah, it's beautiful. I haven't even spawned myself here. I've just never seen it since getting the new updated parallax. We're not gonna be able to see it now, but the flats are also quite updated. But that will have to be for another episode, another mission. We're gonna bring ourselves out here again. I feel like crewed missions are the best for us, but we may take a stab at the Minmus Probes program, and because that was very lucrative for the KXP crowd, so it may be worth our while to do that in addition to crewed programs. But anyways, now with nothing else left to do, let's go ahead and point ourselves prograde. And we're just going to extend our apoapsis out until it leaves the sphere of influence. Like so. So now we have this huge orbit around Kerbin. So we're going to take our apoapsis here. We're going to plot in our return maneuver. We have enough life support to handle such a wide orbit. And so... even though it's going to be several days, 24 days until our burn, we'll be able to have enough life support to survive. We are going to bring our periapsis down to 42 kilometers, as we like to do. And let Flight Computer handle the rest. Alright. Nothing else left to do but time warp our way forward. Say goodbye to Minmus as we see it through the screen for the last time. This has been fun. This has been a fun episode. It was a lot of testing because of using the new DE plus MAS IVA cockpit and having to try to do MechJed's auto launch for myself. I had to kind of learn that system as well. So this was a lot of testing. And most of that testing didn't go right because I just wasn't familiar enough with the craft. But the last test worked out, and so it gave me hope that as long as I, did right and flew well, we could get it done. And so I'm glad that we did. Now, the most important part is we have to get Jeb and Valentina back home. Here we are in a massive orbit of Kerbin. Let's go ahead and kill our time warp for now. And we are going to do one more thing. Unfortunately, we do have to get Jebediah out of the cockpit yet again. because I realized I forgot to put his parachute back in. There we go. Then we can just board. We don't have to let go or anything. Nice. All right. Yeah, without putting his parachute back in place, I would have potentially lost him as well. So now, let's time warp our way to the maneuver and bring him home. Alright, periapsis of 44 will do us nicely. So we're going to turn on our SAS, point ourselves retrograde, which we're basically there already, but we'll be pointing the opposite way once we get closer to Kerbin's atmosphere. So we want to make sure that we already have our SAS programmed in by the time we get there. Okay. Altitude 132 kilometers, just above the surface. There we see there. I'm going to turn on our other cameras. That's a good one too. Get to see all of our cameras coming in. And let's see, once we hit the atmosphere, we're going to go ahead and stage. There we are. Nothing but our heat shield to take the brunt of the Firefly re-entry effects. And we'll be able to see it all around us as we go. Hopefully we don't run into this, because we did actually let that go in the atmosphere as opposed to in space, where it would give it a slightly different trajectory than our own. But nonetheless, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the re-entry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are well clear of our lower stage debris. I kind of wish that more of the heating effect was visible through this camera, the downwards facing camera right there. Oh, that's kind of nice. Turn to this one instead. Yeah, be able to see that nice plasma effect. But it does seem to be dissipating, which means that we are slowing down enough to at least be escaping the atmosphere once again. So we might have to come in on a second pass. However, we have plenty of life support, so there's no fear about that. And our battery's doing pretty good as well. So let's go ahead and physics warp our way out of the atmosphere. And time warp our way back into it. There we go. And on this last pass, I do believe that this should be enough to bring us down. And then all we have to do is make sure and hope that our parachutes don't deploy too soon that they get ripped up in the atmosphere, leaving us with nothing but our personal parachutes. Oh, thank you, ground proximity warning. Indeed means that we are on an impact trajectory. We'll be landing today. And once again, the heat is gone. What do you think, Jeb and Val? You think we're gonna make it safe? Alright, so it says that our chutes are safe to deploy, but I'm going to wait until we get a little bit lower to arm them, just in case arming them instantly deploys them. I feel like a little more comfortable a little bit lower. Alright, I'm going to arm them now. We're just going to keep an eye on our chutes. So 2,500 are, there we go. Our drogue chutes have deployed. And our main chutes have deployed, yes. So as long as we are able to slow down in enough time. There they are, opening. Vertical velocity dropping. Impact speed dropping. And our vertical velocity is now negative 5.11, so I believe we can safely say that we are going to touch down. Well, safely. Let's time warp our way down.
300. 200. 100. 50. 25. 10. 5.
Yay! Touchdown. Valentina, Jeb and Val, well done. Successful mission. We're going to go ahead and bring you on home. Look at what kind of science we have, and then we're going to bring this episode to a close. 721.5 science. Wow! I expected a good chunk of science, but I did not know it would be anywhere near that much. So that is good. Jebediah getting some ribbons for his EVA attempts. Unfortunately, Valentina didn't get any EVA opportunities there because I didn't want to risk her either. She had enough troubles. I guess, maybe it wasn't so good to risk Jebediah, because then Valentina would have had to see 2 of her colleagues lost to space. But thankfully, we didn't lose anybody today. And in fact, we successfully completed the milestone of the first Kerbal EVA around Minmus, as well as first satellite in polar orbit of Minmus. We may have locked ourselves out of the programs. Oh no, I didn't think about that. Because we couldn't have performed a crewed flyby of Minmus, or we could not have orbited Minmus with a probe. So we did not do that correctly, unfortunately, and hopefully the KXP crowd learns from our mistake there. But nonetheless, we will be doing some more stuff in the next episode. I'm not sure. We may go back to the Mun, given the fact that we now have a massive amount of science. We're going to be able to unlock a lot of cool new parts. Might do a rover on the Mun. We might send Kerbals to Minmus now that we are no longer restricted to the program. However, funding will become an issue soon enough, so we will have to keep an eye on that and act appropriately. But anyways, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward for more KSP POV. If you did think about subscribing, drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.